no more than 175, 180 perhaps. But recovery was absolutely fantastic. Between 15th over Combox and the 35th over Combox, they did not lose a wicket. And that partnership between Tirimanna and Angelo Matthews, yes, he, the man for the moment, came up with a magic over in the last match they played. And here once again, doing the job with bat in hand. Sri Lanka needed somebody to step up, somebody to make sure that they finish the tournament on a high. And no matter what happens in terms of the end result, I've got Zach and Robin in the studio. I think they'll be happy with what they've put on the board, especially where they were.
Yeah, absolutely. I think given that situation where they were 55 for 4 in the 11th over, you know, you thought that, man, 170, 180, possibly if someone can stitch up a partnership. But they stitched up more than just a partnership. Yeah? They really got out there and, you know, batted through the innings. And the wonderful thing about Angelo Matthews' innings is the fact that he actually batted till the 49th over. You know, I think that's what helped them get to 264. You know, at the Combox, we thought that 230, 240 is a possibility, but just the fact that he batted through to the end got them to 264.
And I think what you look at those follow wickets again, what would have hurt Sri Lanka more is the fact that there were 4 players, all of whom have done pretty decently with the bat. Kusal Pereira is explosive, Karunaratne has been doing well, Kusal Mandis can be there throughout the innings, and then you find Avishka Fernando, all 4 gone. So you're suddenly thinking Tirimanna, who's playing in a new position, and again you're telling Matthews to put his hand up. But they did it.
Well, to start with, Bumrah was phenomenal. I think, you know, with his new ball spell, that's something which really put Sri Lanka under pressure, and they were behind in the game. So for them to get out of that situation, a partnership was required, and someone needed to step up, which Matthews did. And he not only just stood up to the occasion, he actually made sure that Sri Lanka has got to a respectable total on this track, something which Sri Lanka can fight from. So that is the most important thing when you are in that kind of a situation and so much behind in the game, having lost half the team before the 15 overs have been bowled. So that's pretty much, you know, 70% of the innings still to go, and the only way to get out of that is someone playing this kind of a knock, which Matthews did brilliantly, and that's something which we've been talking right throughout the World Cup, isn't it? That the seniors and the experienced players stepping up, contributing, because the experience is what matters in these kind of situations, to absorb pressure and make sure that whoever you are batting with, in this case it was Thirumanne, to calm his nerves down and have that kind of communication in the middle, which just, you know, that takes a team out of a difficult situation. I still feel that 264 for India should be pretty much easy task to achieve. I felt, you know, maybe anywhere close to 290, 300 would have been a winning total on this kind of a surface. It's not that alarming, you know. Wicket has played well, and it's also indicator of the fact that how well Indian bowlers have bowled on this track, particularly Hardik Pandya as well, with his into the wicket slower ones, understood the conditions well, and you know, kept those middle overs in check.
Yeah, and you look at Bumrah, of course, Zahir's mentioned, outstanding, absolutely. Hardik Pandya, once again contributing, bowling his 10 overs. The man who coming into the side, Jadeja, for the first time, 1 for 40. But the only 2 people who had a bit of an off day with 73 and 58 respectively, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Kuldeep Yadav, and as we've said so many times, he didn't have anybody to turn to, even for 1 or 2 overs, to relieve them.
Well, yeah, but when you're going with 5 bowlers, that is going to be the block, right? That's going to be the difficulty. When like for instance, someone like Bhuvi's had an off day, you don't have the luxury of stopping him at 7 overs and giving somebody else 3 overs to fill up. You know, you don't have that luxury. But that's okay. He knows he's going in with those. Those are the cards that he has, and those are the cards that he'll play, and he's fine with that because he backs those 5 bowlers, which in some way is also a good thing for the bowlers. You know, they know that irrespective of how the day goes, they gotta go out there and back themselves and bowl as well. And you know, for instance, like yesterday's game where Mustafizur went for 40 runs in his first 5 overs, he comes back and picks up 5 wickets in the next 5. You know, and gives the bowler a chance, right, to come back into the game as well. So I'm sure Bhuvi at the end of 7 overs must have backed himself to say, okay, let me see if I can at least rectify my first spell with something in the second. It didn't happen today. Seemed like he had an off day even on the field, and that can happen to anyone, and that's fine. But the others made up for him. I thought Hardik bowled really well. I think he's really understood what works for him and exactly how he wants to go about bowling, and it's working for him in these conditions. And Bhumi was just out there. It was a masterclass, so to speak, with the way he opened the bowling and the way he finished the bowling. And Jaddu stood out. Yeah, Jaddu really, the way he bowled. First 4 overs, he had given only 11 runs. Only when Thirumanne and Angelo Matthews attacked him a little bit in his second or third spell is when he went for a few runs. But right after then, he was just bowling really well.
Yeah, both Bumrah and Jadeja. But it's the task for the Sri Lankan middle order. The whole story of this World Cup had been Sri Lanka getting good starts. They've got aggression at the top. Then what happens? The middle order collapses. Today it was just the opposite. They had a collapse up front. You can see those first 4 wickets right up there. And then the repair job that was done to take them to a respectable total. And I think this is that 7.3 between 31 and 40 is what will satisfy them, because that was the area of concern in other games.
Well, yeah, also that was the area where they could have gotten runs, because they knew that that's the area that they needed a target, and you could see very consciously they were targeting those 10 overs when Kuldeep and Jadeja came into bowl. That was the phase when and I think it was in Jadeja's bowling that a catch was dropped in long on.
By Bhuvaneshwar?
Yeah, by Bhuvi. I think it was Angelo Matthews, if I'm not wrong. And it was after that he went on to score 100. But in that phase is when they decided to get aggressive, because they read the situation where they felt the spinners would be bowled off by 40 and then the fast bowlers would finish off the last 10. And that is exactly what happened. So they read it right, and they played that phase of the game really well.
What they also did was, when Bhuvaneshwar Kumar came back for his second spell, they knew he was having an off day, and Matthews went down the pitch and attacked him immediately. So they were playing smart, knowing where the little chinks in the opposition might lie.
Well, I felt that Bhuvaneshwar, there was a reason behind Bhuvaneshwar having an off day. So when you have in-form bowling attack, which you will be facing as a team, you look at that bowling attack and say, okay, if we have to get to a winning total or put up a really good total, what are our options? And in that you would feel that, okay, Bumrah, most of the teams are going defensive. You expect Bumrah to come hard at you. You expect Bumrah to be that wicket-taking impact bowler from the opposition. So you have to be watchful. You don't want him to give him to get in that game with that kind of a mindset and having an upper hand in the match. So you go in as opponents. Being Bumrah as your bowler who you're going to be cautious against. Then you have wrist spin. You saw with England as well. England actually had a plan of attacking spinners. They not only went after Kuldeep, they went after Chahal as well. Yeah. So that was a part of batting plan. Here, that Hardik has also been in good form. So he's using those overs very smartly, using his options very smartly. So you may not be able to put pressure on Hardik. So that leaves one of the bowlers to be targeted or to be taken chances. Now in these kind of scenarios, either the bowler who opposition is trying to target walks away with bags full of wickets, or the opposition is successful on that particular day, and you see what happened today. So Bhuvaneshwar was stuck in that kind of a pattern today. A catch dropped on his bowling early on has not helped that cause. Otherwise, the plan would have been completely different. You would have seen Bhuvi ending up with more wickets, because the opposition has decided that, okay, no matter what, we are going to go after him, and that at times works in your favor as a bowler, and at times you have a tough day like how Bhuvaneshwar Kumar has had today.
Also had a couple of games off, because Shami obviously wasn't their first choice bowler at the start of the tournament. Then Shami comes in and Bhuvi misses out a few games, so that could have also played a factor now that he's playing without Shami in there.
Well, not necessarily. Remember in the last, I think discussion that we had after the India's previous game. We said maybe Shami would be the one who will miss out and Bhuvi will be the one who played because he played well in that game. So I just think it's an off game. That happens to anyone. I think he came out there with good intent. He was swinging the ball up front, both in and away to the left-hander and to the right-hander. So he's bowling well. I just think like Zakpai had, I think he hit the nail on the head, and he kind of called it right when he said that on some days it goes in your favor, on certain other days it doesn't. It was just one of those days for him.
But one box India ticked well was the back 10. I mean, with 5 wickets in hand, with Angelo Matthews in 3 figures, Thisara Pereira to come, it could just have gone wrong in those last few overs. Have a look at it, 64 for 2 right at the back end, and that could have been 80-90.
Well, I think on the whole, it was a decent bowling effort, because you judge a bowling performance based on what's the kind of par on that particular wicket. And then today's wicket is certainly of 285, 90, 295, that kind of a range. If opponents have batted well, they could have gone to say 310, 315. That's the kind of margins you have. You set the tone of the match by picking those early wickets, which has helped create that kind of a platform on a good track. I did feel that the wicket is really good to bat on. Yes, the ball has been stopping a little, but that has been the case right now in England in the last week, 10 days. That's been the pattern of wickets playing in a particular manner. It will slow down further. There is no doubt about that. So for that you need that cushion. So India already has that cushion. India has that cushion of say 30 runs, which on a given day you are chasing that many less. So as a bowling unit on the whole, they have done a job. It was even contest after those 4 wickets being down. There's some good batting display. There's some good temperament shown by Matthews and Thiramane, which got them in a situation. But Indian team would go back in this break saying, okay, fine, we've done a decent job. They have played some good cricket after we got that early breakthroughs, and we are still chasing a below par score. So with our batting lineup, we should be able to chase. That should be the talk among the dressing room in that break. And as usual, you need your top 3 to set that tone. Like how your bowlers set that tone in your bowling innings, like in batting innings, you would expect batsmen can take bit more time and then set the tone for the remaining of the match. As you know, bowlers have been going defensive as the game goes along, say 15-20 overs. If you are in decent situation, then the pressure falls back onto the bowling side. From Sri Lanka's side, it's going to be Malinga. So that's one factor which Indian team will have to deal with. Otherwise, it should be an easy chase.
Yes, he's had a minimum of 3 wickets in every victory that they've had in the tournament so far. A little bit like Mustafizur Rahman. There was a stat the other day, when he takes 3 or more wickets, Bangladesh generally wins the game. Of course, there can be exceptions to that, and we